Did you decide to take action but things aren't moving forward? Maybe it's a couple weeks into it or a couple months and you're seeing that slowdown. If this is you, these 3 tips can make a difference of that success you're looking for or that failure you're trying to avoid. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos Rentas and this is mentorsapproach.com, where we strive to make a video each and every week to get your mindset thinking and moving in the right direction. So hit the subscribe button to get your weekly dose. Let's face it, we all decide to take action on any one thing to change our lives every so often, and then we start moving towards it, and all of a sudden that enthusiasm brings a crashing halt at some point down the road. We've all experienced it, we've all had failures with it, and it's caused us to procrastinate on doing more to continue and doing more to start something new. Taking action is incredibly challenging, especially if we've built a comfort zone where we hide back into every time we experience some form of setback or even worse, failure. So these 3 tips will definitely help you get moving in that direction and stay with it, because this is critical for each and every one of us to achieve if we want to see big changes continually happen in the positive, so we can keep moving in the right direction towards that goal, that mission, that purpose we have in life. Number 1, it's looking at your emotional state. In last week's video, we talked about taking action, and emotions are critical. EQ plays a significant role in the success or failure that we experience each and every day. Put this into perspective. If your emotional control is in check, you're making decisions based on the rational side, which means you're being critical of everything around you based on the goals you've set. Emotions, on the other hand, are looking at everything else and changing the value that everything is. For instance, the hockey game's on, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you decide not to work on that deadline you have and instead watch hockey because it's once in a lifetime. You're never probably going to see that comeback that may or may not happen in last night's game. So what do? You wake up in the morning and you realize they lost and you didn't even do your work and last night's game was a waste. But guess what? You're probably going to do this again. These are the one set of emotions, and these are the emotions that come up after you've allowed the initial big emotion that caused you to take action to remain in control. Usually there are 2 things that are happening when you're taking action. We need to analyze what emotion it is. Is it a positive one and you're excited, or is it a negative one and you're in a place of fear and you have to perform, you have to make the change? Being able to understand these emotions will allow you to really put a perspective of what is important outside of the immediate change that needs to happen. Your life is still moving forward. The things there, the people, places, and things that exist will keep moving forward while you're doing something new. Those things don't change. So if you neglect them, well, they're eventually going to catch up on you, for better or worse. Balance is the key, which is step number 2. How do we maintain balance in our planning of what changes we're going to be making? This is critical. Procrastination will eat you alive as time goes on because you are making changes you don't necessarily want to make, either in that big change or in the other changes in your life. So what ends up happening, well, simply put, if you plan out everything, accommodating for everything in a nice structured approach, well, then we can look at what is occurring with these set of new changes and implement them such that you are not wreaking havoc to everything else. This will actually allow you to make a plan that you can sustain long term. This is the basis of habit formation. We need to slowly increment the changes such that we can sustain them long term. If you decide that cold showers might be the new best thing for you to do and to maintain your health, well, here's the question. What's better, taking showers progressively to a colder temperature or jumping in and taking the coldest shower of your life? What do you think you're going to actually adjust to better long term? I can guarantee you, take a cold shower and you'll know instantaneously it's not going to be sustainable long term. You will want that hot shower back. Step number 3 is this accountability thing. We always come back to it. Where is the accountability on the changes you're making, and how accountable are you to those changes in accordance to the plan? We need to understand that this is the progress forward. This is the movement forward that we're gonna have to partake in, and in this process we need to analyze, do we increase the changes or do we decrease them based on everything else that's happening in our lives? Can we sustain the big changes overnight? That's the question. Or does it have to go over many months in order to see that gradual increase in progression of the changes? Being able to monitor this allows you to do 2 things. If you effectively do it, 1, you'll make changes that will actually be healthy, positive, good decisions based on the rational side of things. Number 2, your emotions won't be taking control, and what will be occurring is, because the rational side is making the decisions, you won't allow the self-limiting beliefs to trickle up. The narrative won't change of the success you're having, and all of a sudden no failure mentality will be partaking in the festivities of really causing chaos in that brain of ours. These steps go hand in hand. We need to do this every time we make big impact changes to our lives. To close this video off, I'm going to give you an example that would relate to pretty much everybody on one hand. On the other hand, you can take this example and really think about every other situation in your life, because you will be able to really clearly understand what I'm talking about. Years ago, I was incredibly overweight, had an incredibly bad lifestyle, and of course I was incredibly sick. My body was giving up on me. A lot of my signals, like the blood pressure and the liver enzyme levels and all this stuff, along with all the eczema, not to mention all the excess fat on me, were signs that the body, it wasn't doing too good. No matter what I did during the process leading up to when the doctor said, you gotta do something ASAP, like right now, because we're not seeing good things here. Well, I couldn't change. I couldn't make the adjustments. I would always jump on a diet. I would get moving. I would do a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I would go through what you guys are probably experiencing with other things, where procrastination takes over and we stop doing. I had to do a full stop on everything due to fear, and then that emotion really pushed me to make big life changes. I was no longer eating Whoppers, 2 of them on a Wednesday night, heavy all cut in half, and then having pizza on the way home from a trip up to Toronto, an hour and a half away. I was no longer spending every day in fast food joints and in breakfast joints. I was no longer doing things that were causing me to be ill. And I focused on cooking because cooking was important. I literally just cooked all my foods, meats and vegetables only, and I would base my schedule through the day based on food. That way I didn't have an excuse of why I had to eat out. As I lost 40, 50, 60 pounds, my body went to the state of bliss. It loved everything about it. But now, because I started on an emotional run and I had gone through all this change because of fear of dying, well, what do you think happened? When I hit 80 pounds, I had this incredibly good feeling inside, and then I said, what the hell? I can go back to that lifestyle. But it slowly crept in. It wasn't done overnight. The one thing I made as a rule was I wouldn't touch any Big Macs, any Whoppers, anything fast food related. Not because I don't think my body could take it, but because I knew that if I ate a Big Mac, I'd be eating Big Macs every week again. This allowed me to look back on everything and create a balance based on not out of the emotion, but on the rational side, where I knew I couldn't cook everything, but I knew that, every so many days I could eat something that was made in a restaurant that maybe wasn't 100% something I could eat, but my body could tolerate it as long as I kept the next few days not eating bad food for me again. And what happened was I achieved this balance over time, where I understood that what my body could tolerate, what my body wanted, what my body needed. And it was this game of balance. I was able to maintain this to this day. And yes, some days as we continue, they get harder, but overall, the positivity comes from being able to maintain that lifestyle to that nth degree that the body can tolerate, that the body can say, hey, I'm happy with you right now, keep doing what you're doing. Really think about these things. When you're taking action, procrastination will be that thorn in your side. We need to look at what's causing this change, what emotion is really pushing it. Where's the planning in accordance to the whole lifestyle that we have, all the other responsibilities, and then we need to be accountable for the changes we're making such that everything is accounted for. We're not leaving things behind in our life that's going to catch up to us. My name is Nico Rentas, and this is mentorsapproach.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button to get your daily motivational idea to get you moving in the right direction. Share this with somebody who you think might need to hear it, and leave your comment below. Leave your story. Have you experienced this? Where were the goods? What were the bads? What would you do different? Because who knows, somebody might be going through what you're going, and they might read your comment, and you might help change their life. Snow again.